Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you my new sketchbook that I'm starting. So I'll be drawing the first page of it and I'm going to be kind of doing a little review of what I think about it so far. So this sketchbook that I'm trying out right now, it is from the brand Mifuner on Amazon. And I got the sketchbook because number one, they have tons of really adorable designs. Like you can see, my cover was dogs, but they also had a lot of other designs that were very much like Japanese prints, the Japanese ukiyo-e style, which I really love. So that definitely drew me to it. Two, the sketchbook was a watercolor sketchbook. And I have been really interested in trying watercolors, and I thought getting a smaller size sketchbook like this one, it's like a 5x7, somewhere around there, would be a really good way to practice. So on this very first page, what I did is I started off doing little doodles. Now I kind of wish that I actually swapped the front and the back, because if you read about the sketchbook, it says that one side is more rough and it can carry more water and the other side is less rough. But both sides should be able to have watercolor on them, no problem, and nothing will show through. So my second drawing actually ended up being more of like a full page thing. So it would have been nice to swap them to see how it worked, but I guess it was still good that I saw what the limits of the backside was. And I'm really not even sure if the backside, is the one that would take less water. I would assume so, but even though they said one side's smoother and one's rougher, when you look at the pages up close, they do look like they're the same rough texture on both sides. So I'll be interested to see once I do a heavier washed piece on the front of one of these pages if it works any different. Another reason that I went straight into doodling right away is that usually when I've done watercolor, I do full-size pieces, the whole thing's watercolor, but I see so many people do little drawings where they ink it out first, and I really wanted to try that right away. So that's what I did, and I definitely do like the look of just that simple, flat colors on top of each other for the doodling. It's really fun. The one thing I did struggle though with, like always, is using portraits and watercolors together. To me, it's so crazy how people are able to make those super realistic portraits with watercolors, because watercolors, you really have to learn how to work with the medium. There's not much control you can do with the medium, so you really have to understand how the water is going to work to make it kind of blend on its own almost. So that's definitely something that I want to use this sketchbook to get better at. I really want to learn how the medium works so that it'll look natural, the piece, when it's done. And I think once I'm able to do that, it's going to be a really fun medium to keep using. I'm not really a fan of white backgrounds on pieces, especially with this one, since there was like two things together. So I tried doing like a pretty just abstract, colorful background, and I really should have not, because obviously these drawings were too close to each other to make a separate background for them. And the dog really looked fine on the white. I didn't like the portrait on the white. But I regret coloring it all in the background now, but it's okay. I feel like on all my sketchbooks, the first page always usually looks very bad, because I'll do something and I'll be like, okay, now we're not going to do that anymore for the rest of the sketchbook, and it'll get better. But it's just kind of annoying always having that first page not looking up to your expectations. Overall, the first page performed really well. You could definitely see, obviously, the page buckling just a little bit because it is watercolor, and I didn't tape down the first page yet because I didn't have tape with me, and it wasn't a full wash, so I figured I wouldn't need it. So the buckling definitely, though, it wasn't horrible. And then I did not notice any lifting up of the paper on the first side, which was also good. And I thought for blending in the colors and everything, it turned out fine. Now, on the other side, like I said, I decided to do a full page drawing, and right away I started off with a wet on wet wash. Now, for one thing, I definitely taped down the side. You can, even though it's a sketchbook, still tape it down. Like I said, though, I didn't have tape with me. I keep going to the store and forgetting to get, watercolor tape. So I tried just putting, the normal clear tape on there, which worked for this. So that helped definitely keep that buckling down, because if you had not put tape, it definitely would have been buckling a lot. Though the thing is that you could definitely notice right away doing a wet on wet wash that the paper was lifting up. So I'm not sure if that's mainly because of the wash or mainly because I was on the second page, but it was happening. But personally, I didn't think it was that bad. because yes, some paper lifted up, but once it dried, I could just kind of brush away those little paper bits that came off, and the paper did not look significantly damaged, because I have worked with papers before where the minute you put water on there, even though it's a watercolor paper, it just shreds it, and this wasn't anything as severe as that. So that's definitely not bad, especially for a little sketchbook like this. I'm not going to be expecting to do like crazy washes upon washes and stuff, so I think this is still a perfect little starter off sketchbook. The more and more I worked on this butterfly piece, the more and more I realized I hated it, so I kind of worked quickly to finish it up because there's like a lot of things I want to draw now in this sketchbook, and I was just excited to move on. The composition I just didn't like. Obviously it doesn't look very realistic because I just have all these stages of the butterflies in like different areas, and they're just up against that blue background that doesn't have much depth. But it's okay. I was really just wanting to test out this second page, because the other thing too is I didn't even know if the second back page was going to work that great. So I didn't want to draw something, amazing, and then it gets trashed because the paper couldn't handle it. But I think I can definitely draw nice drawings on both sides without having to worry about anything bad happening. And as you can see on the end, I do untape it and flip it over, and the front still looks perfectly fine, and the page isn't significantly buckled. I mean, it buckled as much as any watercolor sketchbook I would use. So overall, I'm very happy with this sketchbook, and I am super excited to keep working in it. And they also have sketchbooks I saw that are just normal, like square sketchbooks that are more for color pencil and stuff like that. So I might look into getting one of those too, because their covers are so adorable. One of my biggest annoyances as an artist is when sketchbooks are just that boring black cover. I want my art supplies to look cute, so I really appreciate when sketchbooks like this are made.